today I would like to present my syntax project, and my name is Siti Athaillah with my SID 332300035. So in this presentation, I will explain two topics, which is the first one is surface structure, and then the second one is relative clause. Okay, and then after I explain those two topics, I will explain about syntax tree. Okay, first we're gonna continue with our first topic is surface structure. What is surface structure? So, surface structure refers to the final form of a sentence as it appears in speech or writing. So, in syntax, surface structure represents how language appears on the surface, which is different from the abstract or underlying structure of meaning. So, in other words, surface structure focuses on how words are arranged in a sentence. Next is the key characteristic of surface structure. So, surface structure itself has several important characteristics. So, the first one is observable. So, surface structure can be directly seen in written language or heard in spoken language. And then the second one is follow grammatical rules. The arrangement of words follows specific grammatical rules of a language, such as subject-verb agreement and word order. And then it focuses on form, not the meaning. So while meaning is important, surface structure mainly focuses on how the sentence is formed, not what it means internally. Next is we continue with the examples of surface structure. Okay, I'm here to explain that sentence can have different surface structure but express the same meaning. Okay, the first example is she reads a book. And then the second example is a book is read by her. So here I'm gonna explain the pattern. In the first sentence, the pattern is subject, verb, and object. As you can see here, she is the subject, reads is the verb, and a book is the object. So the pattern is subject plus verb plus object. And for the second example, a book is read by her. So the surface structure is basically they change, but the meaning it still stays the same. Okay, so a book is the subject, is read the passive verb, and then by her, which is her is who does the action. Next is the students are studying English. The students are the subject, are studying is the verb, and English is the object. And then the next example is English is being studied by the student. In here, English becomes the subject, which is before English is the object. Okay, and then the verb form change to is being studied, which is the previous one is are studying. Moving on to the next topic, which is relative clause. What is relative clause? Relative clause is a dependent clause that gives more information about a noun, and it helps explain which person or thing we are talking about. Relative clause usually begin with relative pronouns, okay, such as who for people, which for things, that for people or things, where for places, and when for time. And why do we use relative clause? So, we can say it was like the purpose of using relative clause. Okay, the first one is to give extra information about a noun, and then to identify or specify a person, thing, place, or time, and then to avoid repeating information. We can apply this in the syntax tree we are about to talk in later. And then there's the types of relative clause. And here I'm gonna tell you the two types of relative clause. The first one is defining relative clause, and it gives essential information, and it has no commas, and without it, the meaning is still unclear. Okay, and here we have the example: the student who sits in front is very active. So in this example, the relative clause is necessary to identify which student we are talking about. Okay, and then the next is non-defining relative clause. So in non-defining relative clause, it gives extra non-essential information, and in here we use these commas and can be removed without changing the main meaning. Okay. And for the example here, we have my brother who lives in Jakarta is a teacher. So the information about living in Jakarta is additional, okay? So it's not essential. Next, I will explain the syntax tree based on several sentences. Basically, syntax tree show the structure of a sentence, okay, including noun phrases, verb phrases, and clauses. Okay, and for the first example is we have the sentence: the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Like the usual syntax tree, the sentence usually starts with S, which stands for sentence. And then in here we divided it into two, and P, which is noun phrase, and VP, verb phrase. So in this sentence, the noun phrase is the quick brown fox. And the noun phrase we divided into first determiner, which is for the word the, and then adjective for the word quick, another adjective for brown, and then the noun for fox. And for the verb phrase is jumps over the lazy dog. In verb phrase, jumps is the verb, okay, and over the lazy dog, they were all PP or prepositional phrase. Okay, so inside the prepositional phrase, we have the preposition over, and then noun phrase, the lazy dog. So in the lazy dog, we divided them again. First one is the determiner, which is the adjective lazy, and then noun dog. Next is the girl who is wearing a red dress is dancing. As usual, we divide it into two, noun phrase and verb phrase. And for the noun phrase, we have the sentence: the girl who is wearing a red dress. So in the noun phrase, the relative clause is who is wearing a red dress, which gives more information about the girl. Okay, so and then there's and then inside the relative clause, is wearing is the verb phrase, okay, and then a red dress is like the object of the noun phrase. Next is the verb phrase, is the remaining clauses, which is dancing, is as an auxiliary, and dancing as the verb. The third sentence is Stefano saw the Yehezkiela with the telescope. In here we have the noun phrase only Stefano, which is the noun, and then for the verb phrase, inside the verb phrase we have the verb and the noun phrase. So the verb is saw the Yehezkiela with the telescope. So the verb here is saw, and then inside the verb phrase there's the noun phrase, which is the Yehezkiela with the telescope. In the noun phrase, we divide it into determiner, noun, and prepositional phrase. For the determiner is the word the, and for the noun is the word Yehezkiela. And for the prepositional phrase, we divided them again into preposition and noun phrase. For the preposition, it was the word with, and for the noun phrase, we divided them again into determiner and noun, which is the determiner is the word the, and then for the noun is the word telescope. Next sentence is she believes that the earth is round. In here, the noun phrase is also only one, which is she. And for the verb phrase, we divided it to verb and noun phrase. For the verb is the word believes, and for the noun phrase, we divided them into so inside the noun phrase there is the relative clause, auxiliary, and adjective. In here, the relative clause is the sentence that the earth, and then and for the auxiliary there is the word is, and then for the adjective is the word round. And last but not least, for the sentence is the house where I grew up has been demolished. So in here, for the noun phrase, we can see there is a determiner and noun. For the determiner, we have the word the, and for the noun, we have the word house. And for the verb phrase, we divided them into noun phrase and three verbs. For the noun phrase, it was a relative clause, which is the clause where I grew up. And for the verb, the first verb is has, and then the second verb is been, and the third one is demolished. Okay, so to sum up, syntax tree diagram actually it helps us to understand the internal structure of the sentences and showing how words form phrases and how phrases can form a sentence. I think that's it for me. I hope my explanation is understandable. Thank you.